Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I would like to talk to you about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Now, after I've played Assassin's Creed Origins, I actually stopped playing it. So I skipped Odyssey and I jumped into Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and I have to say I was pleasantly surprised. But let's talk about the story first. The story baffled me at first. It starts off as a revenge story of the main character whose parents got killed by a rival gang or tribe, and that story is resolved in the first 5 hours of the game, and then it's off to England to actually start the game. And this is one of the problems of Ubisoft when it comes to their writing, and they just can't seem to be able to create interesting characters. This has been a problem ever since the Ezio trilogy, like the second Assassin's Creed, and they sort of dragged that on for 3 games. Since then, since Ezio, Assassin's Creed hasn't had an interesting main character at all. Now, if you're going to spend tens of hours playing an open world game like this, you better be sure to have an interesting main character that goes through a certain kind of narrative, sort of a progress as a character, much like, you know, Metal Gear has Snake, Witcher has Geralt, you know, Last of Us has Ellie. Interesting characters that you want to spend time with. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, unfortunately, has you play either a male or a female character, and the voice acting is fine, but it's, you know, it starts off with a, as I said, with a revenge story, and that could have been an interesting setup, but it's just abandoned, and then it sort of lets you play with this character. It's sort of a cardboard character, more or less. They've become a better at it nowadays. I mean, it's not as bad as the other characters, but it's just not up to par. But anyway, once you get to England, the game does open up, I have to say. There is a kind of a War of the Roses type of situation going on there, with lots of kings rivaling for power, and you are thrown in the midst of that. And that is an interesting setup, and there are some interesting characters you run into, although you don't spend a lot of time with those characters, so that after an X number of time spent in the game, you kind of forget about them. So that's not really, you know, fun. But anyway, the storytelling is, I'd say it's okay. I think that Valhalla is sort of modeled after Witcher 3, because I've really felt this Witcher 3 vibe when I was playing it, which is a good thing, actually. So they're trying to match Witcher 3. They're trying to get to that point, and I have to say that the questing in Valhalla, as you know, is quite good. The questing, and I never felt that I was doing quests that involves fetching things and bringing them back. It's quite interesting stuff that you do. There's some brutal moments, some heartfelt moments. I think that the questing is pretty good in Valhalla. And the world building, the way that the world is designed, is amazing. It really is very good. It looks fantastic, all kinds of different builds. It never feels like it's copy-pasted. It feels genuinely good and well-designed. I mean, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think that Ubisoft creates the best-looking worlds in the whole industry. I have to say that. Now, the character models do look a little mixed. The lip syncing is not great, and it's all pretty stiff and all. But again, you know, the world is beautiful. Now, what about gameplay? Well, it is your typical third-person open-world stuff. You follow the main quest if you want to. You can do some side quests. It's quite a bit of exploration, which is now done in a more natural way. Like, you run into these people walking around, and they can set you on this path to find new gear, hidden items, miracles, other activities for you to do. Lots of fun stuff, I have to say. The game controls well. Also, the horseback riding is way better than in Witcher 3, because there every bump on the road made Roach stop in his tracks, which was really annoying. Not in Valhalla. It's done quite well. Also, you can do these river raids with your longboat and your sort of generic-looking band of Vikings. And if you raid these locations along the river, that will net you materials that you can use to expand your town with new buildings, and that will open up a new can of quests for you. So I felt that, again, the progression in this game felt quite natural. It's quite fun to see your settlement sort of grow as you progress in the game. Combat is servable. It's better than it's ever been, in my opinion. It's not just mindless hacking and slashing. Well, there's a bit of that, of course, too. But you can also block, you can parry. There's a light swing, there's a heavy swing, there's special attacks. And there are quite a few skills and abilities to unlock, and they're quite fun. But the problem there is that it is all sort of obscured in this constellation of skills, and there's a lot of them. And the skill tree is just, this constellation is just a mess to plow through. It's very hard to figure out what path you want to take through the game, what kind of character you want to create, right? So that is just not that much fun, although again the abilities that you get to unlock are fun. They are fun. So yeah, and along the way you can sort of upgrade your gear. You can do that in menu, which is convenient and easy to do, but somewhat unimmersive, you know, to go into a menu and then sort of upgrade your stuff. But, you know, overall, I felt that Valhalla was actually quite a good game. And the only complaint, it's difficult to say, but I really enjoyed the first Assassin's Creed game. I really enjoyed the Ezio trilogy, because the thing with those games was that the game really gave you a challenge to go out there and kill these targets, these people, right? You had this motive. They say, oh, this guy is a bad guy, right? And it's because of this, this, and that. So you have to go out there, kill him, and then get a reward. But as you was doing that, you had to overcome certain obstacles. You had to find your way. You had to use stealth to get near your target and then kill him, and then get out. All right. That stuff is, well, it's still here, but it is a sort of a side activity. It's literally a side activity. It is, you unlock this building in your settlement where you can get these targets to kill. You don't get a lot of backstory about these characters. You just have to go out there in the world and kill them and return and get a reward. That's all there is to it. That is the Assassin's Creed sauce, basically, that's in Valhalla. So it's a side thing. It's become a side thing. And that is, I think, the main complaint, not so much about Valhalla, because Valhalla I just consider to be a very good open world game where you can do all kinds of stuff that you're supposed to do in an open world game that you kind of expect. It's that blockbuster game that is fun to pick up. But again, the Assassin's Creed aspect of Valhalla has become a side thing, a side activity. And that makes me a little sad. I think that it would be really good for Ubisoft to really come back to what is the core of an Assassin's Creed game, and maybe make a spin-off. I mean, I'm not saying that they need to abandon their open world type of games, because they are fun. Valhalla is fun, as I said, but they could sort of branch out or come back to the original idea for Assassin's Creed, and then make it so that it is more modern, better graphics, but still has that challenge for you to get to that target. Because stealth games are just fun. They are fun, and they're rewarding. That's it. That's it for me. Again, Valhalla is not much of an Assassin's Creed game, but it's fun. It is fun. Thanks, guys, for watching. and see you next time.
Tiring than I thought. I grow weak.